So there was this time just a few weeks ago that I was at a certain car dealership, and there was a client who had bought a German entry level luxury car. But after just a few days, the check engine light came on and the client was very frustrated. So she brought the car back so that the car dealer could find out what was wrong. Now, such a situation can be frustrating because once you've spent about 2.5 million shillings on a car, you expect to have a trouble-free ownership experience, at least for the first few couple of years. No one wants to go through such a situation. So, assuming you have around 2.5 million shillings and you intend to get yourself an entry-level luxury car, and you have shortlisted the BMW 3 Series, Mercedes-Benz C-Class, Nissan Skyline, and Toyota Mark-X, and you can't decide on which one exactly to go for, but you just want to make sure that you buy a reliable car that offers good value for money. Should you trust your money with the Japanese offerings or with the German offerings? That's what we are going to take a look at today in this episode, and at the end we will try to find out which car will be the best alternative. So stick around and welcome to iCave Auto Reviews. Before we start, let me take this opportunity to kindly request you to subscribe to the channel for more informative content on cars. Going by YouTube statistics, 90% of the viewers don't subscribe, so they watch frequently but don't subscribe. So please, if you find this content helpful, support the channel by subscribing. I will really be grateful. These videos are meant to help someone out there to make a well-informed decision in terms of purchasing a car or a bike and even maintenance. So if in one way or another you have found these videos helpful, then please do me the favor of subscribing. That support will be very much appreciated. So that said, let's move straight into the video. We are going to have an in-depth comparison review on these 4 entry-level luxury saloons. For the Mark-X and the Nissan Skyline, we will have a look at the 2015 models. For the BMW 3 Series, we will have a look at the models ranging from 2013 to 2015. And lastly, for the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, we will have a look at the 2013 model. The 2015 model is way too expensive. Some of them are going for over 4 million shillings. So in terms of price, it will be way above the other 3 competitors. I've tried to balance out the model years such that the price difference is not too high. So as usual, let's begin with the price. 2015 Mark-X is currently going for between 1.65 million to around 2.5 million shillings, and that is in fact the most affordable car in this comparison. The 2015 Skyline is going for between 1.7 to around 2.8 million, though some of the top variants with very low mileage can go for as much as 3 million shillings. The 2013 C-Class is going for between 1.7 to around 3 million, and lastly the 3 Series is going for between 2 million to around 3.65 million, depending on whether it's a 2013, 2014 or 2015 model, as well as the mileage and trim level. This is the most expensive car in this comparison. For the 3 Series, this is the newer 6th generation that was in production from 2011 till 2018. For the C-Class, this is the 3rd generation that was in production from 2007 till 2014. For the Skyline, this is the 13th generation that was in production from 2014 till present. And for the Mark-X, this is the facelifted 2nd generation that was in production from 2009 till 2019. Let's move on to the engine options. The Toyota Mark-X gets to either 2500cc V6 or a more powerful 3500cc V6. All the 4 cars are available in either rear or all-wheel drive. The only transmission option available for the Mark-X in the Kenyan market is the 6-speed automatic. The Nissan Skyline, on the other hand, is available with 3 engine options. The first one is the Mercedes-sourced 2000cc 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol. Then there's a more powerful 3500cc V6 hybrid, and that is the only engine option that gets the all-wheel drive option. Now from 2019, Nissan introduced a newer engine in the Skyline. This engine is the 3000cc V6 twin turbo, so you can only get this engine in Skylines from 2019 and onwards. In terms of the gearbox, the only option available is a 7-speed automatic. Moving on to the Mercedes C-Class, this is now where it starts to get complicated because of the many engine options and different power outputs. So there's a 1600cc 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol in the C180. Then there's an 1800cc turbocharged petrol in the C200. There's also a 2100cc turbocharged diesel that produces 136 horsepower in the C200 CDI. CDI stands for Common Rail Diesel Injection. There's another 2100cc turbocharged diesel that produces around 170 horsepower in the C220 CDI. Then another 2100cc turbo diesel with around 200 horsepower in the C250 CDI. So in short, this 2100cc turbo diesel has 3 different power outputs. Lastly, there's a 6200cc V8 petrol engine that produces a whopping for 57 horsepower. That engine is excessively powerful. The transmission options on offer are either 6-speed manual or a 7-speed automatic. The 3 Series also offers complicated engine options, just like the Mercedes. So there's a 1600cc turbocharged petrol in the 316i, then a 2000cc turbo petrol in the 320i, then an inline 6-cylinder 3000cc turbocharged hybrid engine that produces around 335 horsepower. This is a seriously complicated engine. The engine itself is already quite big, then it has a turbo, and as if that is not enough, it also has an electric motor that can drive the car at low speeds within the city to enable for better fuel consumption. We are not yet done with the engine options. Now for the diesel options, there's a 2000cc turbo diesel that has 4 different power outputs: a 114 horsepower in the 316D, our 140 horsepower in the 318D, a 181 horsepower in the 320D, and a 214 horsepower in the 325D. So we are not yet done. There's also another 3000cc turbo diesel with 2 power outputs, either a 254 horsepower in the 330D or a 308 horsepower in the 335D. That is the typical German version of engine offerings, and you can see just how different the engine displacements are with the engine name designations. As for the transmission, there is either a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic. Moving on to fuel consumption, the 2500cc V6 in the Mac-X can give around 11.5 kilometers per liter, while the 3500 V6 around 9 kilometers per liter. These figures will always depend on how you drive, how you maintain the car, and also how much weight the car is carrying. The 2000cc turbo in the Skyline can achieve around 12 kilometers per liter, the 3.5 V6 hybrid around 14 kilometers per liter, and the 3-liter V6 twin turbo around 9 kilometers per liter. On to the C-Class, the 1600cc can achieve up to around 18 kilometers per liter, the 1800 around 13 kilometers per liter, then the 2000 diesel can get between 10 to around 20 kilometers per liter depending on the power output. Remember, it has different power outputs. Lastly, the 6.2-liter V8 can achieve around 6.5 kilometers per liter. It's a seriously thirsty engine but with excess performance. The 1600cc in the 3 Series can get around 18 kilometers per liter, the 2000cc around 15 kilometers per liter, the 3000 turbo hybrid around 12 kilometers per liter. The 2000cc diesel options can get between 12 to around 20 kilometers per liter, again depending on the power output. Then the 3000cc diesel can achieve around 12 kilometers per liter. The Mac-X has a 71-liter fuel tank, the Skyline an 80-liter tank, the C-Class a 66-liter tank, and the 3 Series a 57-liter tank. Moving on to ground clearance, all these saloons fall below the recommended 165mm clearance here in Kenya. So you will have to always watch out for uneven road surfaces and severe bumps. These are not cars that you would want to interfere with the suspension because, for one, you will interfere with the ride and handling. Then you will also interfere with the looks of the car. That said, the Mark X has a 155mm clearance, the Skyline a 120mm, then the C-Class and 3 Series both have a 140mm clearance. All these cars have front ventilated disc brakes at the front and solid discs at the back, though some of the more powerful variants like the C-Class AMG have ventilated disc brakes at the back too. What about their carb weights? The Mark X weighs in between 1510 to around 1570 kgs, the Skyline between 1650 to around 1910, which is quite heavy. The 3000cc V6 hybrids with all-wheel drive are the heaviest. The C-Class weighs around 1480 to 1795, with the 6.2 litre V8 being the heaviest. Lastly, the 3 Series weighs around 1385 to around 1769 kgs. The last thing to look at are the optional features that you can get in these cars, and being luxury cars, they definitely come well equipped. In all these cars you can get features such as sunroofs, leather interior, parking sensors and backup cameras, also electric memory seats, except for the Mark X that only gets electric seats but misses out on memory driver seat. You can also get paddle shifts, cruise control, keyless entry and go, sport suspension in the C-Class MG and 3 Series M Sport. The Nissan Skyline takes it further with a premium Bose audio system and even a 360-degree parking camera. So with all that said, let's now talk about their exterior and interior designs. Do let me know which one you think looks better exterior wise. I would say they generally all look quite good. The Mark X and Nissan Skyline tend to look a bit more aggressive, while the BMW strikes a good balance between aggressiveness and an elegant look. And the Mercedes, on the other hand, just looks elegant. I think in terms of looks, the 3 Series takes the day, followed by the Nissan Skyline, then the Mercedes, then the Mark X. Moving on into the interior, I will say that no car here disappoints. They all look premium and the build quality is very good. The quality of materials is softer and is of slightly higher quality in the BMW, Mercedes and Skyline. That is not to say that the quality of materials in the Mark X is poor. No, it's good but a bit hard touch compared to those in the BMW especially. I would say the dash design in the 3 Series is better. It definitely looks better than the one in the Mark X and in the Nissan Skyline, but do let me know your opinion in the comment section. Space wise, they are almost evenly matched. There is decent leg and headroom at both the first and second rows. The seats are also very comfortable and well padded. Their boots are also decent enough, and something good that all these cars have is that the boot hinges are designed in such a way that they don't crash into your cargo as the goose hinge designs normally would. So with all that out of the way, which one is the most ideal car to get among these four? Each car here has its own strengths and weaknesses. Let's begin with the BMW 3 Series and the Mercedes C-Class. These two German cars are well built, they drive very well. The BMW is a bit more sporty while the Mercedes-Benz is a bit more comfortable. If you are into performance, there are faster options such as the C-Class AMG or the 3 Series M Sport. If you are more keen on fuel consumption, then there are also more frugal engine options such as the 1600cc petrol options. Though these small turbocharged engines normally don't age that well because the engines are of small displacements, but they are forced to produce more power due to forced induction. Now that said, these cars are not as reliable as the Japanese counterparts, and normally the best thing to do if you want one of these German luxury cars is to get one with very low mileage. The reason for this is once these cars begin to age, they normally start developing issues which are very expensive to repair. You see, a Toyota may be plain to drive, but a Mercedes or BMW will be more engaging to drive because there is so much complexity that goes into the engines, the turbos, the transmissions, and many other sensors and electronics to make that drive enjoyable. But always remember that engaging driving comes at a price, because at some point all these complex systems will start causing problems, and once they do, you cannot afford to take these cars to just any mechanic. You will need a very proficient mechanic who understands them very well. So in a nutshell, these cars are good to drive, they are classy, they will give you that high status, but only go for the ones with the lower mileage, since they will still have a longer life left. Gone are the days when these cars were made like tanks to last a lifetime. The likes of the W202 were super reliable, but with these newer ones, the reliability has gradually gone down over the years as sophisticated technology came into place. Their maintenance is also something that you cannot afford to skimp on. You have to service them at the exact required time, and always use the recommended genuine parts and oil. Otherwise, you may end up having hefty repair bills, and it's also important to note that if something very small is ignored, it may end up causing many other complications with the engine, turbo, and gearbox. So strict maintenance is very key. Moving on to the Nissan Skyline. This is a new car in the Kenyan market, so we will have to wait and see how it will fare in our market. But just something to take note of, this is a complex car. Remember, it has the 2000cc turbocharged engine from Mercedes. Then there's also the 3500 V6 hybrid, which is also a complex engine. So strict maintenance is very key. Something else is that this car has a steer-by-wire system, meaning that there is no active physical connection between the steering wheel and the front wheels when the car is moving. What happens is that the steering inputs are transferred to the front wheels electronically, but in case there is an error with the electronics, there is a backup clutch that links the steering wheel and the steering rack, such that once the electronic failure is detected, that clutch engages, and then the driver is able to control the front wheels again like any other normal car, because there will now be a direct link between the steering wheel and the front wheels. So the mechanical steering control via that clutch engagement is actually a backup system. This is a clever yet seriously complex steering system, and it has actually had issues, which led to Nissan recalling some of these cars, specifically the Infiniti Q50, which is essentially just a Nissan Skyline. I really wonder what would happen if the electrical steering system fails. Then worse still, that clutch fails to engage. That would mean the driver cannot control the car completely. How this system will fare here in Kenya, only time can tell. And if at all it fails, I reckon it will cost quite a lot of money to repair or replace. So the reliability of this Skyline is a wait and see situation, but considering its complexity, I would really think twice about going for this car. Lastly, the Mach X is known for its reliability. Yes, it may be very common, but it will give you peace of mind. It also has better resale value compared to the German counterparts. So if you don't mind about how common it is, then this would make a very good option. In terms of price, reliability, and even its performance is quite good. So this car would make a lot of sense, and it's the one I would actually recommend. The Skyline, as I've said, only time can tell how reliable it will be due to its complexity, but it looks good, it's comfortable, and performs well. The German competitors are well built, they look good, they drive so well, but they are also complex, and generally their long-term reliability and durability may not be as good as that of the Japanese offerings. Do let me know which one would be your pick. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel for more informative content on cars and bikes. If you have any inquiries, feel free to reach me via email or WhatsApp. That's it for this episode. Stay safe. See you in the next one.